Welcome, welcome! Spawning in the bottom left, in the red, the Italian stallion, the Little Caesar. From Team Clash, he is REYNOR. And his opponent in the bottom right, in the upper right, in the blue, the fourth horseman, the fourth race himself. From South Korea, he is MARU. And you know, looking at both players' routes to get to this point, neither player have looked dominant, right? Neither REYNOR nor MARU actually found their way on into this semifinals by taking first place in their group. Actually, wait, did MARU do that? Am I saying something that is woefully incorrect here? No, I'm not saying something woefully incorrect. Both MARU and REYNOR took that series, or ended their group stage with a 4-1 record. Actually, MARU dropping 2 less maps than REYNOR did. REYNOR 8-5, MARU 8-3. Both players had to fight their way to the semifinals from the round of 12. REYNOR lost, or won 3-2 versus Stats, won 3-2 versus Dark, and found his way there. MARU looking a little bit more dominant in his route to the semis, 3-0ing both Hero Marine and Rogue. So, MARU actually looking a little bit better, and 3-0ing Rogue in ZVT is not or in TVZ is no mean feat. So, that at the very least is something that MARU can be proud of, but REYNOR, he is a different beast, even if he has looked a little bit vulnerable, taking every series in this semifinals to the maximum possible games, which on the one hand, for those of us watching at home, it makes us very happy. We get to see 5 games, 10 games of REYNOR in the semifinals thus far, and that's just a little bit of fun. Of course, that's just really exciting. But now, well, we're going to have to see what REYNOR is able to do here, as MARU, he's known for a couple things. He is known, of course, for his multitasking ability. Second only maybe to Beyond. But he is also known, and has become known for this over the last several years, especially as he's gotten older, as he has dealt with more wrist issues, of just having a wonderful, wonderful late game ability. He is one of those Terrans that once you get to 5 bases, I mean, good luck. His spellcaster usage, his ghost usage, his liberator usage, his tank positioning, all of these things that he does to such aplomb, well, they make him look really, really good. And he is so very good at it. Now, a lot of games he does not get there. But when he's playing a player like REYNOR, playing a player like Cyril, when the game goes late just because neither player can kill the other. When you get this trading back and forth, you see bases keep expanding. The Zerg keeps taking bases, the Terran keeps taking bases, Zerg keeps trying to deny the bases of the Terran, and the Terran keeps trying to deny the bases of the Zerg. Well, sometimes the game goes late, and then you get on into this Ghost, Tank, Liberator, Bio, Thor, everything composition. As now REYNOR, he has, of course, gone for Overlord speed in this game, number 1, and he will scout the Cloaked Banshees coming on in here. You will see, well, also the number of SCVs in the natural, not quite as important, but scouting the Cloaked Banshee is going to be really nice, because there are a lot of Marines out here. This is a rather interesting build that MARU has opted for in this game number 1. No Hellions. Absolutely skipped Hellion productions to get Banshee Cloak as quick as possible, to get Banshees as quick as possible. But this is a lot of Marines. This is 9 Marines on the map. We see more coming on in. And that is a long time to keep your barracks on a reactor and not move it on over to a tech lab. So we're going to have to see exactly what MARU is opting to go for here. Now, it's not the greediest, or it's not the most aggressive build. We do have a 3rd command center on the way, but now we have Hellions on the way. So I think what we're going to see here is a Cloaked Banshee Marine Hellbat timing. It's going to hit around 5 odd minutes, so it's certainly not the earliest. We've seen players like 4GG in the ESL Open Cups go for like 4 minutes. Go for 4-minute Hellbat timings, which it didn't really work out. It was 3 Hellbats. But anyway, that's kind of the earliest possible opportunity. There we go. An armory is now on the way here for MARU. So we're going to have to see exactly how much damage he can get done with this. How many Hellions do we have? 4 total Hellions will be on the map. Will he go up to 6? I don't think so. I think the timing is going to be before he could get those 4 Hellions out on the map. Timing is right around when this armory finishes. And there we have the army of MARUs moving across the map. The Overlord that is over there will slowly get targeted down, but it's found a nice high ground position. Looks like it will eventually get targeted down, though, by these Banshees. And REYNOR, he is getting prepared. He has an Overseer done. He has 4 Banelings on the way, but he is incredibly gas-starved. Only 26 gas on the map. Now, there is the 5th Baneling on the way. He will be able to add them in drips and drabs, but still, not a lot of Banelings. He has to get good connections here to make sure that the Hellbats are just not dominant. MARU, though, his splits are not good. That's going to be it. The Hellbats, they are donezo. And now, yes, the Banshees, they didn't get anything done whatsoever. There are only 5 Marines left on the map. This push for MARU is going to be slapped aside, and now REYNOR in a wonderful position. Up 20 workers, up some army supply, but that's not really the story of this game. The idea, though, REYNOR, he's up 20 workers, 21 workers, something like that, 22 workers. He has a 4th base on the way. Evo chambers are on the way, so his 1-1 will be a little bit slower than MARU's. But he has a well-timed Baneling speed. His 4th base is on the way, and we're going to have to see exactly how he decides to go on into this mid-game with the advantage that he has. Will it be Hydras? Will it be Spire? The longer we wait, the less likely it is to be a Spire, because you want that early Spire timing. You want that ability to swoop on in at, call it 8 minutes. Sometimes earlier if you're going 2-base Spire, but that's not the case here. To swoop on in there with your 8, 10, 12, 14 mutas and just eviscerate a mineral line. The most powerful the mutas will ever be in a game is that first time they show up. But now the Banshees are going to show up on up into this 3rd base of REYNOR once again, or I guess for the first time, trying to get the damage that it failed to get done previously. Now the Banshees have been repaired, so they do have some longevity here on this map, but the Spore will reposition itself. The Queens are here. There is an Overseer. Of course, there is Overlord speed as well, so Banshees will be able to escape, but 4 drones did go down. A little bit of damage here for MARU as he looks to stabilize himself in this game number 1 of the IEM Katowice semi-finals. Now, Baneling speed is done in 6 seconds. REYNOR, though, he's going to take that fight before then. MARU will be forced to pick up. Go away. The first drop from MARU, getting not a whole lot done. But, of course, behind this MARU, he has his 3rd base. He has 1-1 just about done. Looks like we have tanks getting, I guess this is the overlay bug. Tanks are going to get contaminated on up here. So, I think we only have, yeah, so 1 tank is being made, but of course contaminated. And, oh no, REYNOR manually detonating something like 12 Banelings right there. And I guess he just meant to manually detonate a couple before the pickup, but he got every single one. And that's never a good sign. That's never a good feeling, losing that much gas for free. Actually, it's an unforced error. And REYNOR, maybe this is showing some nerves. This is, of course, the semifinals. He has never gotten further than this. Actually, I don't believe he has gotten this far in the IEM Katowice World Championship. Yes, he was a BlizzCon World Grand Finalist. Actually, the most recent finalist of the World Championships, as in BlizzCon 2019 was the last time that we had a World Championships. As Katowice in 2020, it was kind of weird because it was online, offline. No one could show up, but we still had the players there. But B, it was not quite the official World Championship yet. This is the first year of that, and REYNOR looking to take that one home. But MARU, he is a champion in his own right. Multiple time IEM champion, even if it is not Katowice, even if it is not the IEM Championships. 4-time GSL champion, even more of a finalist. And he has really turned his style around dealing with REYNOR here in this game. Look, he's not attacking. Not really. He's moving out on the left, moving out on the right a little bit. But look how turtled up he is. These drops are just about the only bits of aggression that MARU is using to try to make something happen in this game. And even that, the drop will be shoot away in the main base. Spores in the natural. He will get a kill on this 5th base. Sorry, this 6th base attempt from REYNOR. So that's always going to be rather nice. Hive, though. Hive is on the way, halfway down. We have a Lurker Den on the way. We will see 1-2 on the way here, as REYNOR does have a +2 Carapace on the way. We probably will see +1 range will be the upgrade of choice for him after this, as he looks to get on into those quick Lurkers and make his presence known on the map. Lurkers, once you get Seismic Spines, once you get Adaptive Talons, are incredibly maneuverable units. They're like faster siege tanks that don't do splash damage. On the flip side, though, They only do damage in a straight line. They don't do damage in circular clusters. So it's a little bit easier to micro around them with splits. So now we have MARU here on the right-hand side. He's going to stim on in here into this third base of REYNOR, but REYNOR, he is prepared for this. So it's only going to be Creep that will be the victims here. Creep and a couple Zerglings, I guess. But MARU, he's going to have a timing here where he has 2-2 and his opponent will only have 1-2. Which, I don't know whether this is an oversight of REYNOR or what, but he's a 1.5k, 1k, so he has the money for it. He just has opted to not spend it. But look at this, MARU saying, I don't want to make any use of this whatsoever. I'm going to keep clearing Creep, maybe, that's fine. I'm going to keep showing some map control on the map here, keeping you away from my bases, but he's adding 3 command centers. He's building 3 command centers at a time. Well, I guess it's only 2, but for a moment he was adding 3. And that is just, that's showing us that MARU has no desire to be active on the map, no desire to really push, because he's spending, what is that, 1,200 minerals on command centers. That is 1,200 minerals that are not spent on Marines, on barracks, on factories, on starports, on anything else. So that's already, again, it'd be a pretty good thing there, as now the drop on the main base from MARU will actually start to find some damage. We will see the infestation pit go down, a gas go down, and that's going to be just about it, though, as the Zerglings find all their way in. But this is a nice position here for MARU. Remember, he is up 2-2 versus 1-2. So that does mean that his Marines will fight a whole lot better than just a pure Zergling ball, especially with the position that MARU has found himself in. Wedged himself on in there. And now we have Seismic Spines on the way. Adrenal Glands on the way as well. And we have 1 Dropper Lord. Where is that Dropper Lord, though? We're going to have to see what happens with that. I assume this is for Lurker drops? Could be for Baneling drops, but there we go. It looks like it did pick up on the bottom side. MARU, though, 3-3 is on the way. And he's just in a wonderful position. He has his 5 bases. But look at this, though. REYNOR has started to realize that MARU has no intention of attacking him for the short term or the medium term. If we look at the, what is that? The 11 o'clock base, 10, 11 o'clock base, MARU, or REYNOR is trying to take what MARU's perspective 6th base. And that's pretty cool, right? If you can deny resources from your opponent for quite a while, if you can mine their bases in a long split map situation, it's going to be really good for you. Now, MARU with this drop, not going to get a whole lot done. I guess he was trying to snipe a Lurker, but was unsuccessful in doing so. So now, REYNOR, he's maxed out. He's got a 3k, 1.5k bank. MARU, at about 1,000 less minerals, about 1,000 less gas. But look at this, MARU, he's going for a Nidus on in the main base with a couple Lurkers to defend it, but the drop is here to defend. We're going to see a scan on these Lurkers immediately. These Lurkers don't do a lot. They only have +2 carapace, +1 attack. MARU, though, he is at 2-2. These Nidus networks will get nothing done, and now MARU, he will be able to maintain his Fortress of Solitude here on Oxide, here on map number 1 of the semifinals of IEM Katowice 2021. So now MARU, 3-3 is on the way here. We have Cloak for the Ghosts. We will see that 5th base of MARU get taken. And once again, it looks like we're going to see some Nidus try to get on up. MARU, though, it looks like he's a little bit less in position to try to deal with this time. REYNOR, though, he's going to dive on top of these tanks as well. Nice blinding clouds are going to keep these tanks from firing with too much aplomb. And REYNOR, he's going to run on into this 3rd base, busting down that planetary command center. But REYNOR, not the most cost-effective play. It's 2 Nidus for 2 Lurkers. Okay, REYNOR. That's not kind of what you expect when you see that. But a bunch of Vikings, the rest of the army of MARU here will show up. And these Lurkers should be shown the door. But now MARU, he's retaking that 4th base immediately. He already has the 9 o'clock, or the 3 o'clock base, excuse me. So he's going to be totally fine. And once again, these Nidus networks not getting a whole lot done. I would have liked to see a bunch of crackling stream on in there. Just remove at the very least, all the add-ons. But that will not be successful. Nidus in the natural, also dead. And we have seen, how many Nidus? 5 Nidus heads have been spent and have died over the course of this game. As MARU right now, there's a better way to look at this, is doubling the resources lost, or having the resources lost of his opponent. He's been doubly as efficient, and he has 5 bases. He is preparing to get his 6th base eventually. Look at this planetary. MARU is just so turtled in this game. You don't ever see planetaries this advanced on a map. Not really, not unless it's like Innovation playing mech 3-4 years ago, right at the end of Heart of the Swarm. But no, MARU, he's playing mech with Bio. That is exactly what he's doing in this game, as the tanks are sieged up. Nice blending clouds, though, will prevent these tanks from getting shots off, but now the tanks will siege up once again. This planetary, though, will go down once again by the snipes, of course. The snipes mean that any sort of retreat the REYNOR is looking for in this game will not be all that effective, as once again, we do have a Nidus coming on up in the main base. Meanwhile, though, MARU, he says, okay, REYNOR, you're going to try to take my base. That's not really going to happen. I think REYNOR got some resources out of that. but not nearly enough to justify it. Maybe it's enough to justify it if the game goes late. But that bank from REYNOR that we were talking about, 3K, 2.5K, something like that, it is already down. It has been cut in half here as REYNOR, he continues to trade inefficiently. Now 14,000 resources lost more than his opponent at this point. And yes, he's denied one base. He's denied another base. But realistically here, MARU has 2 command centers, 2 planetaries, and where's that number? And 4 orbitals. He has a lot of bases here. Now, once again, we do have the army of REYNOR. He's going to try to dive on in here. Nice blinding clouds on one tank, but it's really not going to get the second. Second will get blown up by a bunch of Banelings. And look at this split from the Ghosts. Now, with the Overseer on top of things, the Ghosts will eventually get targeted down, but Ghosts are not light units. They do not trade well. Or, excuse me, Banelings do not trade well against the Ghosts whatsoever. So it looks like this base may go down once again. Actually, 17 workers going down from REYNOR, but MARU, he's active on the other side of the map. He got the 5 o'clock base from REYNOR. He was able to kill off 7 workers as well. And now MARU, he's going to be able to knock this base out as well. So look at this, REYNOR. Yeah, he got a base from MARU. He got a base that's kind of getting close to mined out from MARU, to be totally honest. But in exchange, REYNOR, he lost his 3rd base. He lost his 5th base. And now REYNOR really only mining on the left. I guess this was the 4th base and the 5th base. Really only mining on this 9 o'clock base. Yes, there are some minerals left in the natural. Yes, there are some minerals left on the 3rd base. But they are out of 8 effective workers. Something like that. 6, 8 effective workers. Not a whole lot of minerals left. And MARU continues to trade extremely well. Extremely well in this game. And now +3 mech attack on the way. Would not be surprised to see him go into armor after this. As, well, we're at this point. A mech army is powerful. And where does REYNOR go from here? I guess he could go for Broodlords, as that's a really good way to break an entrenched Terran. But REYNOR just seems to be unwilling to get his additional upgrades. Get on into +3 attack for either ranged or melee. And yeah, part of it is he is lacking a bank. He is mining kind of rough parity with his opponent at this point. Actually, MARU's got an upgrade lead, or has an income lead for the first time in quite a while here, as MARU was able to knock out 2 of the bases of REYNOR. And when that's the case, when he does not really, when REYNOR does not really have the bank that he's hoping for, well, it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder for REYNOR to justify getting that +3 attack for both his ranged and melee units. But there we go. Second armory is now on the way. I don't really know why we're getting a... Oh, okay, never mind. I do. So, second armory is on the way. So we will see ship plating as well. Oh, nice snipes here. The observer not in position just yet. I don't know why you are blinding clouds. Ghosts, of course. Snipes are spells. Blinding cloud does not affect them. But anyway, so we're going to see the second armory on the way here, and 2 additional starports. So we're going to see both ship plating. That's going to affect the medevacs, the tanks, the Vikings, but we will also see +1 air attack, as a couple additional command centers will get taken here. MARU, he owns this side of the map. This is Fortress MARU here in this game number 1, and it is so difficult for REYNOR to really fight on into this. Yes, REYNOR does have a bank, but it's not going to be quite enough here. MARU's going to get on top of some of these lurkers, but will be forced back, and we will see some of those command centers get canceled because the lurkers are right on top of them. But still 2 more command centers on the way. MARU, he is so difficult to break at this point. These man-made chokes that he's decided to build for himself are so hard for his opponent to break. And now with the Vikings here in the sky, it is difficult for the Vipers to really get on top of things. On top of that, Vikings are going to target down the Observers, target down the Overseers. And when that's dead, well, nothing to kill the Ghosts. Nothing to target down the Ghosts. It's not like REYNOR has some scans that he can drop down that MARU can, when he says, okay, well, my Ravens are... I mean, not that you really use Ravens all that much in this game, in this matchup, but my Ravens are dead. I don't have any mobile detection. Let me drop a scan. It's not like this is against Protoss, where if the Observers get killed, well, you still have Oracles that can reveal things for a period of time. Zerg has nothing like that. It's Observers or Spores, I guess. But Spores, you're never really going to have them on an aggressive push, so it's Observers or nothing, and really the only goal there, the only play that you have, is to build a ton of Observers and go from there. Now, we will see some snipes on top of all these lurkers. It's only 3 lurkers. It is only +2 attack. And yeah, +2 lurkers are scary, but they're not +3. There we have, I like this, a parasitic bomb on the medevacs, looking to punish MARU, just picking up and leaving. But no, the medevacs will not go down. There are a significant lack of Hydras in this map. And I guess Lurker Lane, I guess there's some Hydras there. But I feel like when we see REYNOR get really effective with this, I feel like you see a couple more Hydras in the fight. I think it's generally closer to from 11 to like 15 Hydras instead of the 6 that are really not a lot of anti-air. So now REYNOR, he's going for this fight. The lonely SCV of MARU is going to do what it can to kill off this base. But now MARU's army will find this. And REYNOR, once again, will not be allowed to take the 11 o'clock base. MARU, though, this time, he will take it for himself. 2-2 ship weapons, 2-2 ship plating on the way here for MARU as he looks to get every upgrade on the book. This is the most heavily upgraded Terran army you're going to see in quite a while here, as MARU is functionally playing biomech. I said he's playing mech with bio, and that was true, but now 3 tanks at a time. We see a lot of Vikings. This is the much sought after biomech. Back in Heart of the Swarm, back in Wings of Liberty, back in early Legacy of the Void, there was a lot of conversation. Just hold that thought. We do have a bunch of Banelings, Zerglings. They're going to run on into this position, and the planetary that has been holding that doodad for quite a while will go down. But at what cost? At what cost here? REYNOR doubling the resources lost of his opponent at this point. So MARU, he has his 5 bases. He is really happy. Yes, his 3rd base is starting to mine out, but he still has his 4th. He still has his 5th. Actually, his 5th base is starting to mine out too. Maybe he's not quite as happy as I thought he was, as we are now 21 minutes into this bloodbath of a game number 1. Now the Ghost will find this Lurker, just snipe it all down, and there we go. MARU will be able to take his 5th base at this point. But anyway, in the history of StarCraft 2, there have been many pushes to make biomech be a thing. We saw Special try to make it happen against Stats, I believe, in the GSL Season 1. Did not really work out, although he was able to max out on it. MARU, though, is truly doing that in this game. First of all, he's playing his bio-like mech, which is a bit interesting, but there you go. Really good way to deal with REYNOR, who is in his element the most when he is counterattacking, when he is playing active on the map, when the game is getting as crazy as possible. As now we have the Lings, the Lurkers. They're going to try to find their way on in here. One tank will get found. Meanwhile, REYNOR pushing on into the right-hand side, saying, you know what, MARU, if I can't push into you in one place, maybe I'll be able to push into you in a second. Banelings connecting on top of all of those repairing SCVs. The 5th base of MARU will go down, but MARU has been able to establish his base on the upper left-hand side as well. Now these Hydras, well, they're not really going to take the best fight. I keep trying to talk about the history of StarCraft 2, and I'm failing because REYNOR is just being too active on the map. Anyway, there have been periods of time where people have maligned the lack of biomech as a style. It's either bio or mech. They kind of want both. And there's a reason for that. It's incredibly gas expensive, incredibly mineral expensive to get all the resources you need to produce mech and bio back and forth simultaneously. But if you're going to get up to 5 bases really quickly, if you're just going to turtle away, you can get into 2-2 mech upgrades and 3-3 bio upgrades. Well, I guess 3-2 and 2-2 mech upgrades, air and ground, or ground and air, and get into bio upgrades. That can work. You can get the gas you need. But now REYNOR, now finally he's getting into his +3 attack for both air, for both melee and ranged. He could have had this 10 minutes ago, and I would have liked it a whole lot better here, because +3 Lurkers are terrifying. +3 Cracklings are terrifying. And to be totally honest, MARU may not have been as effective as he previously was. And now, what are all the? Is REYNOR pulling drones for this? I mean, he is absolutely out of money here. Is he going to try to take a last-second fight? Drones are just there, I guess, but the Lurkers will try to burrow on top of things, but that is just not going to work out. We have enough detection here. Yes, some of the Vikings have gone down, but all the observers have gone down, and now the Ghosts can cloak at will. We're going to see more and more Lurkers do go down here. Ghosts with all the cloak. Well, we're slowly going to start to see these Lurkers start to get targeted down, and now the drones, I guess, okay, that's what this is. REYNOR has nothing left to mine on the map. He has no money, but he has nowhere to mine, and there we have it. GG REYNOR. He's going to fall, and MARU is going to take our first game in this semi-finals. What a game there from MARU. Just sitting back, turtling, saying, REYNOR, come to me. I know you're happiest when I'm pushing and you're able to backstab me and kill my reinforcements and do all those things. Well, I'm not going to let you. It's going to be Oxide. Oxide is super choky. You can kind of get your 4 bases for free-ish if you're able to situate yourself properly. And when that's the case, I'm just not going to let you push in. And, well, I should say I'm going to let you push in. I'm just going to let you break on my shores. And I'm just going to take better and better and better trades. And that's how this is going to happen. But now we're going to move on into to game number 2. It will be Death Aura, and I'm kind of worried that Maru's going to do the same thing to REYNOR at this point. If Oxide lets you do that, Death Aura lets you do it even more, as the bases are even freer. But with that being said, game number 2 is loaded on up. Let's get on into it. And here we are, spawning in the upper left. In the red, the Italian Stallion down 1-0 in this best of 5 semifinals of IEM Katowice. Give it up for REYNOR. And his opponent in the bottom right in the blue, representing Team NV from Korea, the 4th horseman. He is MARU. And if game number 1 showed us anything, it is that MARU is not afraid to fight into the late game, to move into the late game, to take advantage of what we were talking about when game 1 started, his incredible late game acumen. Yes, he is known for his multitasking. Yes, he is known for his micro, but his late game is similarly exemplar. And we're going to have to see exactly how REYNOR can deal with this, because REYNOR, in his interviews, said, look, I practiced 4v1 for MARU. I had 4 of my pro player friends hop into an Archon mode game against me, so I could practice against Maru's multitasking. And I don't practice a lot of late game, because I just never get there. I can't get into it. On ladder, I just beat Terrans before then. And if I tell them let me go to late game, or if I say we're going to go to late game, that's not how the game goes. Right? If we look at this, that's not how the game goes, right? If you say, I'm going to go into late game, we're going to force it, that's not an authentic late game experience. You will not have taken the damage you would have in an actual late game scenario. Things will not have happened as they normally would, and it's not as good practice as it would possibly be. So we're just going to have to see whether REYNOR can adapt to this stylistic change, the stylistic adaptation that MARU has thrown in to the semifinals. Now, of course, after this, the maps that we will see are not quite as turtly as Death Aura, as Oxide allow you to be. Romanticide, sure, but it's only 3 bases, it's not 4, it's not 5. Lightshade has that opportunity, but really only if you're going mech, because just because of how the platforms work. And that's about it. So, with that being said, if MARU wants to do this, wants to do this in this game, wants to keep doing it, he'll be able to pull it off on Death Aura. Most likely. He'll be able to pull it off on Death Aura. But after that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. The bases are a little bit more spread out. It's harder to get a free 4th base, and that is kind of what powers this style. If you're a Terran player, if you're on 3 bases, you have to get damage done. If you can get your 4th base pretty easily, less so. You're going to be okay. So we're going to have to see exactly how REYNOR adapts, if he adapts, how he decides to punish this extreme passivity, this extreme greed that we've seen from MARU in game number 1. And again, this is not saying that MARU is going to do this in game number 2. We're going to have to see. But it looked really good in game number 1. And if you have a stated tendency to do something, if you are known for your multitasking and your aggression and your micro, and you know your opponent has been practicing for that, of all things, and you say, look, I'm not going to do that anymore. I am going to go. I'm just going to turtle up. I'm going to play as passive. I'm going to let you break against me. That is a wonderful game plan to go for, as it plays against your tendencies. So you can guarantee that REYNOR was not prepared for that style that MARU threw up and showed up in game number 1. And I don't know if one game is enough to really adapt to it. But of course, it looks like we will not see a Hellbat opening coming up in this game number 2. In fact, we're going to see a Liberator here. No Banshees, as MARU has gone for a third 3 Command Center opener. Once again, this time, that third CC is a lot faster. It is not after the starport. There we go. We do have the... Well, actually, these Hellions are staying at home. The fact that these Hellions have done nothing on the map does kind of lend credence to the idea that MARU may go for some sort of timing with them. Whether it's Hellbats or brings a bunch of Marines, but we're going to have to see exactly where he goes for that, because at the moment, well, these have just been Hellions that have not got a whole lot done. Now, they are 8 Hellions, and 8 Hellions are a little bit more than the standard. Generally, it's just about 6, and MARU has been holding on them for quite a while, so maybe REYNOR is not expecting this. But now we have the Hellions. They're going to dive on into this 4th base, potentially, of REYNOR, and, well, they'll be met with Queens. REYNOR, with his characteristically good defense, will be able to beat them back. And look at this, REYNOR, you see pro players do this, but less so anything below the top of the pros. REYNOR has 2 creep spreading groups. 2 creep queen groups is now, yeah, this, the Liberator will get nothing done here. Nice spore placement, of course. Notice REYNOR, he's not reacting to the Liberator, he's preempting the Liberator position. He says, okay, the Liberator's going on into the natural. I have a queen there to defend, it's going to be fine. I kind of have a spore there as well, so I'm going to put my spore where the Liberator's going to go back to. So the Liberator starts taking spore shots immediately with the queen there. Liberator gets absolutely nothing done, and REYNOR, he's in a fantastic position in this early game. He has taken 0 damage. Now, MARU does have his 3rd base, sure, but REYNOR, he has his 4th base done. Lair is now on the way. Baling Nest is on the way. He's been able to delay this Baling Nest until about 6 minutes into this game, which, for the standard ZVT, is actually rather late. You want to keep that Baling Nest earlier to keep yourself safe. But when you know your opponent is just turtling up as much as MARU is, that's pretty good. And now 13 more workers are on the way. REYNOR, he's going to get himself up to 70 workers rather quickly. He's going to have that full 4-base saturation, and his creep spread is absolutely to die for. He has creep heads on all 3 paths that he wants to take in this game, and it's been untouched. MARU has been able to get absolutely nothing done in this game. Yeah, he's killed 2 Overlords. That's just about it. But now we do see REYNOR getting a little bit of army here. 20 Zerglings are on the way as the first drop from MARU is commencing. And REYNOR, he's not exactly in position quite yet, but no, he will see it now. Zerglings are now going to run on into the main base as REYNOR knows where this is going. Spire will be the tech path of choice, by the way, for REYNOR here. As he says, okay, well, you know what? If you're going to turtle like this, I need something that can actively damage you in a non-straight-up fight. Right, because REYNOR just headbutted over and over and over again into MARU in the previous game. As now the Marines will stem on top of this, but there's a lot of queens, it's a lot of Zerglings. MARU will get nothing done with that, but now he's just going to drop on into the main base and hoping he's going to hope the Zerglings are out of position. But now with the spore here, and Zerglings are going to run back, it's going to be fine. Okay. But of course, MARU, he's known for he's known for his multitasking, so there we have a drop on the right-hand side as well. And when playing a Terran like MARU, you almost know that if he's dropping in one place, you want to send half your army to the other spot, but he will force a cancel on this 5th base. REYNOR's not too sad, though. I mean, he doesn't want to lose that base. But his Muta's just about, his Spire's just about done. His 1-1 is done. We have the Queens here. They're just sitting. They're saying, MARU, I know you're coming back with these medevacs. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be prepared to knock them out. But anyway, that drop on the right-hand side from MARU will be swatted aside now. Widow Mines, they will be killed off. And now, REYNOR, he will have a little bit better defensive position there to be able to take this 5th base. His army is much more in position. And once again, the drop, it's going to run into the Queens. Will be forced back here. And now 8 Mutas are on the way, which means that those medevacs are not long for this world. Now, MARU's going to try to drop on in, but yeah, there are 3 spores here. And I like this adaptation from REYNOR. You don't see a lot of static defense built by pro players in ZVT because, honestly, spines don't make a lot of sense. Your opponent's bio just shreds them too fast. And spores, honestly, I mean, for the most part, you see players, they're going for mutas or something, you just kind of rely on that for drop defense. But I like this. REYNOR knows how much MARU is known, and not relies on, but makes a linchpin of his play. This drop play that MARU is going for, and why not just build 3 spores? When you're at 90 workers, as REYNOR is, 3 spores, it's not all that expensive. You can afford it. Put 3 spores outside of your exposed mineral line, or exposed natural position. That is the easiest position to drop and say, okay, look, MARU, you're dropping here. You're going to lose a medevac. But now 2-2 is on the way. Mutas are now here on the map in force, and we're going to see REYNOR try to bust on through here, I guess. Banelings are going to try to run on in. Yep, they're just going to get a bunch of these supply depots, and we'll supply block MARU for a time being. And now the rest of the army here of REYNOR is going to run on in, but the Banelings are here, and the pickup is good. Not going to be enough. So many Widow Mines! So many Widow Mines are here, it's going to make it so difficult for REYNOR to push on in. The Muta is not really getting a whole lot done yet, as 0 SCVs have died thus far. But Raynor making a really interesting choice. He says, okay, you have adapted to my mutas. You have gone Widowmine Bio. 4M, as it used to be called. And, well, you know what's really good against that? Hydras, Lurkers. Those are all things that are incredible against this 4M style that MARU has gone for in this game. But we also saw how damn good MARU was against Lurkers, turtled up on 4 bases like this. Mutas are going to try to dive on in once again, but they will get nothing done as MARU, he's plugging the gaps. So nice Widowmine shots will be... Oh, actually, no. Raynor's going to be able to get a better trade than he expected here, as a lot of the bio will go down. And the Widowmine shot went off, so that means the we will see these mutas dive in a little bit more, but no, the minefield here from MARU is absolutely insane. He's on 9 mines. I kind of expect him to go up... When we were seeing this mine style so powerful, actually knock mutas out of the meta for a little bit of time back in around Asus ROG when Bjorn won his tournament. We were seeing Bjorn and MARU, because MARU had a great run in that tournament as well, go up to like 12, 15 Widow Mines, which seems crazy in the pro setup, but it was working out really well for him. It's really difficult for Zergs to deal with. But now we're going to have Raynor try to dive on top of this 4th base, and actually it looks like he's not failing to knock it down. There we go. The 4th base goes down, and MARU, he is now knocked back onto 3 bases. So this is not quite as good for MARU as it was in the previous game, to say little. Or to sell it shortly. But now MARU, on the flip side, he's going to be able to knock out the Rich Vespene gas for Raynor on the right-hand side, but Raynor, he's already expanding on the left-hand side as well. Going to be fine here, and this is 2 Lurker Dens. Raynor, he's looking to hit a really fast Lurker time where he gets both Seismic Spines and Adaptive Talons at the same time. And in doing that, he's able to just run on in here. But the mutas are just getting thrown away, I guess. I don't like this. I feel like the mutas are kind of necessary here for MARU. We've seen how good MARU is at dropping. We've seen how good MARU is at abusing positional advantages, and I feel like you kind of want the mutas to punish that. Because look at this, MARU on the left-hand side, MARU on the right-hand side. Mutas not get... Well, I mean, the mutas are pretty much all dead. 5 mutas left on the map. 5 mutas are a paltry force. And now we have +1 range detect just about done. +3 melee, or +3 carapace on the way as well. These banelings are going to look to make their connections, and they do get most of the Marines, but now the rest of the mutas do go down. And now we're going to see MARU. He's going to open the taps here on drops. The mutas are dead. What are you going to do, Raynor? How are you going to be able to defend this? We're going to have to see. As now, again, double Lurker upgrades are on the way. So Raynor has the potential to maybe hit this timing, but he's not there yet. Now MARU cleaning up creep on the left-hand side, finding a position on top of this nth base of Raynor here, and he will be able to snipe it down rather quickly. Zergling's getting on top of things, but this is 3-3 versus 2-2. Zerglings trade really well, and there we go. The Thors will be able to survive as well now. MARU does want to be careful, does not want to lose everything to that one Hydra. Will not happen. There we go, MARU. We'll scan on in here. Lurkers are going to look to burrow. Actually, Lurker's not even burrowing yet, so they're just going to get targeted down. Only 1 salvo of spines coming in from the Lurkers, and MARU just taking a damn good fight here. So cost efficient, as he's now up 6,000 resources lost compared to his opponent. And it's just more on the way. Now, are these 2 Marines going to get this hatchery? Yeah, they each got their own personal healer. The Marines are going to kill that hatchery, not even cancel it. And MARU now, he has his 4th bases up once again. He has his 5th base on the way, planetary in production. And I would like to see Raynor go on in and try to bust that down if he wants to still keep playing this style. But I'm not sure he knows of it. I'm not sure he is aware of this 5th base from MARU in the 6 o'clock position. I guess 7 o'clock position. And now he's just going to run on in once again. But there are tanks here. There's a lot of bio. This is a massive concave. There are just not enough Widow Mines. Although that being said, actually no, there are enough cracklings here. Just maybe, and with the Lurkers, the 4th base does go down. But MARU, he's got his 5th base on the 7 o'clock position. He's going to be fine. Look at this. Thor's dropping on top of the Lurkers. And now Raynor will be forced back once again. MARU, he's just going to drop that orbital. That was still there, by the way, not targeted down. He's just going to drop that orbital back on the 4th base. No mining lost whatsoever. MARU, he has his 5th base up. He has his 3-3. He has +2 tank attack, +3 on the way. And he just has ownership of his portion of the map at this point. Raynor, he's going to have to resupply and adapt, but his gas bank is falling through the floor. Only 400 gas in the bank right now. And yes, he's mining a lot, but he does not have any of those rich Vespene gas geysers yet. And this Lurker Hydroling Bane style is not cheap on the gas front. Lurkers are incredibly gas expensive. It's why you don't get them before 4 bases. You need 8 gas at the very least. But now these Lurkers are going to burrow on in. Once again, one will get targeted down. Second one will almost. And the Baneling shots are going to be, or the Widowmine shots are going to be nice as well. MARU, masterfully moving about the map at this point. See, we'll get another lurker that is trying to burrow. Now, we do have Vipers at this point. Vipers looking for parasitic bombs on top of the medevacs. But once again, REYNOR is not aware of this 7 o'clock base. Looks like now will be the first time that he's found it, but MARU now in a good position to defend this. Thor's in high impact payload mode. Tanks is all sieged up. We do see some parasitic bombs on the Vikings, and that is a powerful thing. MARU not really splitting appropriately, but the Thors stand. The Thors stand. The one Thor on like 5 HP. And the lurkers are going to get targeted down. They're going to get sniped down. That attack from REYNOR was disastrous. And once again, REYNOR, he's going to lose this rich Vespene gas base as well as he tries to resupply, but his army is not done yet. MARU with a bunch of Marauders on 3-3. This is a base shredding squad. If you've ever seen one, each Marauder has his own personal healer, but MARU not exactly targeting appropriately, not stimming as quick as he should have, so the base will survive. And now we Ghost personal cloaking on the way here. So it's going to be even more difficult to engage the army of MARU. If you can't see it, you can't kill it. Not really. Well, splash damage is a thing, but in reality, it's difficult to kill what you can't see. So now 3 more tanks on the way at a time here for MARU. He's at triple factory production. I guess this he's at 4 factory, but one of them has a reactor on it. So if he needs Widow Mines, I guess he can do that. If he needs Hellions at 16 minutes on into this game, I guess he can build them. But now REYNOR, he's been able to establish his 7th base. He has the rich Vespene base, and that's going to give him so much money to keep playing this style, to keep playing this high trade, low efficiency, high economy style that he is so successful with, has been so successful with over the last year. Nice blinding cloud, but look at those EMPs. The Vipers are not going to get much else done with this. The last blinding cloud will get on top of the tanks. The lurkers will burrow, and we do have MARU who's going to try to die, or REYNOR's going to try to dive on top of this once again, but the orbital just lifts. There is not a lot of anti-air here. Most of the army of REYNOR will get swatted aside. Once again, yes, MARU's down to 169 supply, but he is still mining enough. And he is still taking damn good trades, now doubling up the resources lost of his opponent. Once again, 17k is the resources lost differential in this game number 2. And MARU says, okay, as any good Zerg player would do when they say, your attack has been thwarted, what do? I expand. MARU, 3 more command centers on the way here as he is posturing to take the 3 o'clock base, but also the bottom rich Vespene base eventually. Because he wants money. He wants to be rich. He wants to be famous. He wants to be the Katowice world champion. All of these things are true. As he's now building a nuke as well. We all saw how important, how powerful that was in MARU versus Solar in that best of 3 from the group stages. But it's funny, MARU built a nuke in game number 1 as well. He never used it. He never even sent it off. Although this ghost looks like it might be on a nuke trip here. And actually, nice EMP will be able to remove all the energy from these Vipers. And actually, the missile turrets are killing off the rest of them. Baneling shots are actually going to do a really good job of killing off some of these ghosts, even if ghosts are not lice units. Enough Banelings, they do go off. And the 5th base of MARU will get taken down once again. But it's always a but. As REYNOR looks to retreat, the snipes come down. And REYNOR does not take the best trade. But look at this. MARU, he's got enhanced shockwaves on the way. He realizes just how useful EMP is in this game. He wants to make sure that he can EMP the Vipers. And he will absolutely be able to do so with how massive the radius of the enhanced shockwaves are. But now we're getting the minefield set on up once again. Are these just... No, I guess these are just the Widow Mines from earlier. And now MARU looking to take his own rich Vespene gas at this point in the game. He says, oh, hey, REYNOR, you have one. I want one too. So now +1 flyer attack on the way here as well for MARU. As he's getting further on into his tech. We have some planetaries on the way, so it looks like there's a planetary. Yeah, there's a planetary coming on in to defend the orbital on the 3rd base of MARU here. Zerglings are going to run on in here. Cracklings are going to do a really good job just getting on top of all of these tanks. Again, they have 3-3. And they have adrenal glands, so they're just going to get on top of everything. They're absolutely wrecking this army. Meanwhile, REYNOR's been able to break the army of MARU that is trying to take the rich Vespene base. REYNOR taking the best fight he has taken in the last 2 games here, as he is able to penetrate, kill off a ton of tanks, kill off a lot of production here from MARU on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, shoving back MARU from taking his... What is that? Taking his 7th base. No, his 6th base, excuse me. And now we have a Greater Spire on the way. REYNOR saying, okay, well, MARU, you're going to keep playing the style. I want to be able to break you. Broodlords are great at breaking entrenched Terrans, but you got to remember, there are a lot of ghosts And you absolutely need infestors to make this happen, because otherwise the ghosts, they're going to get their channels off. And, well, when you get those channels off like that, that means all of the Broodlords just die. So that is an important thing here. And REYNOR does not have the glands. He does not have the upgrade that gives you the additional energy that you need to actually have a fungal when you pop up. But look at these crackling run-bys. 2 factories will go down. So now it's only 1 factory with the tech lab in this game. The lurkers, though, are firing strong, and the Vikings own the skies. But REYNOR, he's going to, for the first point in this game, he's going to be able to take a base that MARU should own. He's going to take the right-hand side base, 3 o'clock base, mine as much as he can from that before MARU eventually takes it. And in a split map scenario, the goal here is, of course, is to mine more than your opponent, but more importantly, to mine as much more than your opponent as you have traded in the negative. So, the goal from REYNOR here is, of course, to mine 19,000, what is that? 19,000 more resources than his opponent, which I'm not sure is going to be possible if we get to a full split map scenario, but if REYNOR can find a way to kill MARU before MARU is able to establish these couple additional bases, it's going to be pretty good idea for them. But there we go. Infestors are on the way, but pathogen glands have not been researched. So these infestors are not going to be able to fight for a good bit of time. And that means that that's time that MARU can potentially scout the Broodlords. He can scout the corrupt distances and transition and get these stores that he needs, as we have 2 additional factories on the way. Because, yeah, right now he can only build 1 tank or 1 Thor at a time. But now we have the army of REYNOR going on in once again. Nice abducts. They're trying to do what they can. And this time we do have corruptors fighting the Sky army of our Terran player. But there are enough Vikings here. And these are 1-1 Vikings. These are 1-1 Vikings, which means they actually fight pretty well against the corruptors. MARU, though, at 128 supply. REYNOR taking a damn good fight, up 20 army supply here as the ghosts fight away at the final lurker from the high ground. MARU making a really great use of that high ground advantage that he does have. But now we have 7 Broodlords on the way, and this is REYNOR spending a lot of his mineral bank. He still has a ton of gas because he has double rich Vespene base, but he's running out of minerals at this point. His core bases are almost all mined out. He does have that rich Vespene base, but he's really only mining, I guess he's got 3,000 resources a minute, or 3,000 minerals a minute. Never mind. It was a brief flip. He just spent all his money. Disregard what I said. But now, we're 22 minutes into this game, and it shows no signs of stopping. More and more observers, I guess, at this point are getting morphed on in, because REYNOR, he's looking to bust MARU off the space. He realizes that if MARU is allowed to keep mining from the space, REYNOR is going to lose the game. If REYNOR allows MARU to have base parity, or rough base parity over the course of this game, REYNOR has traded so poorly that there is no world that REYNOR wins. But if he can force MARU off this base, let's look at this. We see a double planetary, but now that's going to be forced to pick up and lift off. But now we have the Broodlords showing themselves for the first time in this game, trying to siege away at this base, and MARU's just going to give it up. And look at this, Knight is coming on up in the main base, as well as REYNOR. He's just looking to camp the production, but that does mean he will lose his right-hand side. The MARU, he's going to lose his 6th base, sure. But he will be able to clear off this, I don't even want to know how many bases of REYNOR at this point. That being said, though, we will have Hydra showing up, Lurkers burrowing, but not close enough here, and with all the snipes on everything, MARU, he's going to be able to clean all that up, and REYNOR, he can't run away from this. You cannot run away from 10 ghosts with snipe. They will kill you. The only thing you can do is just select all the units that have been sniped and try to take a good fight. But now, oh, look at those tank shots. 29 workers die in the blink of an eye. And REYNOR, he's gone from having 80 workers. He's now down at 51. He's not mining nearly as much as he once was. He's going to lose the space on the right-hand side as well. And MARU looking for that kneecapping move. Once again, yeah, there are a couple Zerglings on in the main base. That Nidus did some good work. But the Vikings are good enough. The landed Vikings will be able to clear it off. Yes, we have more Broodlords on the way. More Corruptors on the way. But now we're at a point where REYNOR is on his last army. Yes, he has 147 resources. Yeah, no, he had 700 when I was saying that. He only has 142 minerals in the bank. And yes, he has almost 3,000 gas. But that gas doesn't matter if you cannot afford the minerals to supplement it. Now, nice abduct there from that tank, as that one will go down. The Broodlords fighting well. And REYNOR's doing a really good job of denying this base, as a Thor will be caught out on its lonesome. And killing off these Thors is so important. Thors are just so good against the Broodlords of REYNOR. But REYNOR, he's kind of fighting in the middle of the map at this point. He's always out of position with his Broodlords. He shifted them so far right to try to defend his right-hand side, was not in time. And before that, he had been defending the left-hand side to prevent MARU from retaking that base. But then he was forced to shift right, and now you just have Broodlords moving back and forth, instead of kind of keeping them in the middle, so they can react to the left and right side as appropriate. But of course, now we have Infestors. They have Fungal. They have enough energy for Fungals. Do we have Burrow? We do not. No Burrow as of yet. I would like to see REYNOR add that. Of course, it allows him to get the flanks off, maybe get the Fungals that he is looking for. But now we will see a couple of Broodlings, salvos of Broodlings get rallied on in. And yes, there is a Fungal. Not getting a whole lot done yet, as it's not the fully clumped Fungal that you're looking for. And MARU really putting the screws here to REYNOR in this second game. 25 minutes, and REYNOR, he's kind of long distance. Is he long distance mining? No, he's not necessarily long distance mining, but he's not really mining. As there we go, that's the Fungal. That's the Fungal that MARU was looking for. Sorry, that the REYNOR was looking for. They're Parasitic Bomb as well, but he will not be able to get the third Fungal. Yes, some Vikings will die, but that's not enough. Not yet. So MARU actually backing up a little bit to a little bit more defensive position here. As now we have REYNOR, he's going to try to take this right-hand side base because MARU is focusing so far on the left, but that's only 4 lurkers. And this is a massive army from MARU here, designed to kill lurkers. Well, I guess not the Vikings and the Thors, but everything else is. So he's going to scan that, he's going to see that there are lurkers there, and he's going to say, okay, let's siege up a tank. Let's kill the Observer, and then we're just going to be invisible. The invisible men are going to snipe down every single thing. REYNOR, once again, will lose this right-hand side base. He will be forced to cancel it, but of course, MARU losing the left-hand side of the base as well. So both players damn near out of money. REYNOR not mining any gas whatsoever. REYNOR and MARU both at 1,000 minerals per minute or less. REYNOR, though, he has a bank. MARU doesn't quite, but his army is terrifying. 136 supply. He has a well-rounded late-game Terran army. 3-3 on the bio, 3-1-1 for the mech. More and more Thors are on the way here, and you have this many Thors at 3-1. Going up to 8, going up to 7 or 8 Thors. When you have that many Thors at 3-1, the Broodlords, they don't even matter. They will get annihilated immediately. Yes, if there's a Blinding Cloud, maybe they'll be fine. But before then, it's not going to be all that great. It should also be noted, of course, that MARU, as long as he has command centers, he can still find places to mine, as long as there are minerals on the map. REYNOR, though, he has to mine from bases that he is rapidly running out of minerals to build. Now, we will see a Thor get taken out here, so that's going to be a nice little trade there for MARU, as he's forced to evacuate his 7 o'clock base. That being said, it's mostly mined out. It's not the most painful thing in the world to not be able to mine from that. Now, not being able to mine from that base, though, that is the problem, is REYNOR's rapidly mining out of everything he has. That base on the left-hand side is the only mineral mining base he has left on the map at this point. Only 500 resources per minute, but 200 minerals a minute per MARU. As now REYNOR, he spent the last of his money to try to mine from the rich Vespene base on the left-hand side. But MARU, he has 4 orbitals. He has some number of mules he can drop. And we're going to see his income spike in just a second here, as the mules are all dropped on the right-hand side. We're going to wait for this to update. Actually, we're not, as the siege is happening. But anyway, we're looking at the income, and MARU, now he has money. 2,000 minerals a minute, which is not a ton in the grand scheme of things. But when he was mining 500, 200 minerals a minute a second ago, yeah, that's massive. Now, the EMPs will not land, but so the Fungal will also whiff. As we're going to see MARU look for perhaps the last-ditch effort here. He's mining. So is REYNOR, just barely, but he wants to end this game. He realizes that if he's able to break this position, REYNOR will not have the money that he needs to be able to fight back. So first, MARU, he's going to check on the right-hand side, making sure that REYNOR's not mining from there, has not taken a sneaky base. There's no long-distance mining. And actually, no, he's going to take that base for himself. He says, well, you know what? I have a solid position here. I have a faster army than you at this point. I can rotate. But ooh, look at this. REYNOR, he's got an infestor behind enemy lines. If he can get the Fungal off that he is looking for, if he can get that Fungal, if he can get a Fungal on top of the Ghosts, if he can get a Fungal on top of all of the Vikings, maybe he can take this fight. But now we have REYNOR. He's going to try to take this fight. Parasitic Bomb on top of these Vikings. We'll get some damage done rather quick. Actually, I guess on top of the medevac. We'll get some damage done. But MARU, he's pretty quick on the draw there. He's pretty quick on getting the split. And now MARU looking for the slow siege. This is effectively a ghost mech army at this point, as it is 2 Marauders, 5 Marines, 14 ghosts, though, 9 tanks, 13 Vikings. So he's going to be fine, and that's going to be the Fungal that REYNOR is looking for. Can he chain it, though? Looks like he will not be able to, though. The tanks are firing, the Thors are firing, the Vikings are firing, the Broodlords are dying, and if the Broodlords die, it does not matter how many Corruptors are left in the map. the Broodlords, though. There are like 5 left. We're going to see some good transfusions here, but the Thors are firing strong. The Queen's going to go down. Yes, we do have the Corruptors. They're moving forward. We're going to see some snipes on top of all of the Corruptors, though. REYNOR at 117 supply, down 20 army supply, and it looks like MARU has what he needs to be able to break on through here. Only 3 Broodlords left. Now 2, now 1. One more is morphing, but that's not going to be enough here as REYNOR, he is running out of army. He is running out of life in this game number 2. MARU seconds away, and there we go. GG. He's going to take a 2-0 lead. What a game there from MARU in that second game in the series. And now he's on match point. Now he is on now he is 1 game away from the grand finals to face the winner of Zest versus Parting. MARU, a year removed from his dominant a year removed from his dominant 4 GSL run, back-to-back GSL championships. But he hasn't had the best year. He's been good. He's made it to the playoffs of the GSL. He's been decent, and he qualified here. But this has not been the year to the standards we expect from MARU. There is no GSL championship. Not this year. TY has been the best Terran for the last 12 months. But MARU, he's looking to stake a claim for it here as he goes up 2-0 on perhaps the greatest Zerg in the world. Cyril has had a claim to that title. Rogue has had a claim to that title all year. But REYNOR, well, he's the only one left. Cyril getting knocked out by Clem in the round of 12. REYNOR, though, he's still alive. He's still kicking. And he's looking to reverse sweep MARU now and etch his ticket to the finals. But to do that, he's first going to have to win game number 3. Game number 3, which will be on Romanticide. Let's get into it. Here we are spawning in the upper left. In the blue up 2-0, looking dominant in this semifinals. Give it up for MARU. And his opponent in the bottom right, in the red, the Italian Stallion. He is the one, the only, REYNOR. So, we've seen 2 games of the same thing. MARU, he held out late, he turtled up, and he killed REYNOR in the late game. We're going to have to see whether he's able to do that once again here in this game, but it should be noted. Romanticide, you can get your 3 bases just fine. 3 bases are easy. It's getting the 4th base, it's getting the 5th base, and turtling up to that. That's where it gets hard. As we do see REYNOR, he's going to scout, make sure that there are no proxy barracks. MARU is known for this, of course. He played a full year where he proxied every game almost, because he kind of figured out how to play the game in such a way that he could proxy, and even if the proxy didn't work out, he was absolutely unpunished for it. He played it as a macro style, but we're gone from there. And MARU will not proxy here. He says, look, I have this thing that I've been going for. It's been working out really well. Let's keep doing it. But MARU, he's going to go for some really quick gas in this game. So we're going to see 2 gas before a factory, and he will add a 2nd barrack. So we're going to see a 2-on-1 opener coming in for MARU in this game number 3. And 2-on-1s are weird, right? Because Beyond won a world championship off of them. But they have not been good for a while. Now, TY has a 2-on-1 build, where he gets a quick 3rd command center, and that was tearing up the GSL for the start of this year, for the start of 2020. And, yeah, it was good, but it's kind of fallen out of the meta, as well as Zergs have realized, okay, it just hits a minute later. If I see it, I just respond to it, no big deal. So it's one of those things where it's kind of a cheeky build. It's not the most macro build. And we're going to have to see how REYNOR responds to this. Well, how REYNOR responds to this. Now, REYNOR, he is going for the European 3rd. Or the Lambo 3rd. This is a pretty cool decision. Because what he's doing here is he's saying, look, it's hard to defend that 3rd base, the pocket 3rd, because, well, there's that mineral line wall, and generally I can kind of mine it out, but if the Terran's being aggressive, especially if it's like a 2-on-1, well, you can siege up tanks, it becomes rather problematic to defend. Meanwhile, the Terran loves to siege up the doodads and the wall on the 4th base, because that's where Zergs almost always take that 4th base. And if I can get my creep spread past that early enough, I'm going to be in a good spot. I'm going to be able to knock those rocks down because I have map control over that area. I'm not going to lose a bunch of Zerglings to Hellions. It's going to be good. So that's what Reynor's going for here. It will allow him to actually have a much more defensible 3rd base and a 4th base. So you're going to really like that there. And Reynor also showing a little bit of confidence in this game. He's saying, look, I think I figured things out at this point. I think I know how you're going to play. I think I know how to counter it. And so he's going to go Overlord speed. Once again, he says, look, as long as I know what you're doing, Maru, I'm going to be really happy. But actually, Maru is not going to let him show that, as he has a lot of Marines. And that by itself may be a tell here, should be a tell here for Reynor. But Reynor's not going to see exactly what the build is. He's not going to say whether it's 2-on-1, whether it's, well, it probably is just a 2-on-1. But he's not going to see whether it's 2-on-1 with the 3rd command center or not, as once again, the Overlord will be denied. Now, there is a position on the right-hand side if you go up against the north of the map, where he will be able to escape that. But, of course, we do know that Lambo has been coaching Reynor over the course of this tournament. Of course, not in-game. That would be unfair. That's not how that works. But he has been coaching Reynor. He's been serving as his coach between games, saying, rubbing him down a little bit, saying, hey, look, pay attention, it's fine. Lambo was one of the players that was doing the 4v1 Archon mode, but now Reynor is going to get a full scout here. He will see the armory. He will see the reactor on the factory. He will see the 2nd barracks. He sees that the tech lab is spinning on the 2nd barracks. He knows exactly what's up. Baneling Nest goes down immediately, as well as the spine. So Reynor, he's going to be well prepared for this. Already has 6 queens on the map, 2 more on the way, going up to a grand total of 8. He says, look, Maru, no, I'm not going to let this happen to me. This is not going to work here. I am prepared, as 20 more Zerglings are on the way, and look at this. I love this from Reynor. He's going to look and say, okay, look, I have enough to defend at home. I have a spine on the way. I'm going to have 8 queens. It's going to be okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to run by through a wall that is not complete. I'm going to run into your natural, and I'm going to eviscerate your mineral line. I'm going to put you all in, Maru. I'm going to make it so your push has to do so much damage, and I'm going to be ready to defend it. I'm going to make it so it doesn't happen. Now, the Marines on the rally will be able to defend that. Only 8 workers do go down. Looks like the command center may have been delayed for a brief period as well. But on the flip side, Maru, he's not going to get anything done with this. The queens are in position. They're making use of the choke, so the Hellbats have to run on through there. And, well, Hellbats don't want to do that against a spread of queens. So now, once again, we have a run-by coming on in from Reynor, as this looks like Reynor in his element. This is the Reynor that we've been looking for the last 2 games, causing chaos on the map. Running by everywhere, playing solid defensively, but making it so the Terran cannot be comfortable on the map. So Reynor, he kills 8 SCVs. He's able to now get his 4th base up rather quickly. Evo chambers are on the way, and actually these Evo chambers are going to be faster than Maru, so he will have an upgrade advantage here if he and Maru both hit their upgrades immediately upon completion. But now Reynor, we're going to have to see where he goes from this. His lair is done. The lair was on the 3rd base, by the way, making sure it has a little bit of extra HP, so it can survive any sort of push coming in from Maru. But Maru, he's just going to move on the left-hand side, and we'll be saddened to find out that there is no 4th base here. Reynor is taking it on the right-hand side, which is a whole lot easier to defend. It is further away from the Terran rally. It is easier to defend. The choke, or the position is larger. There are less chokes. They're less good siege up positions. So all of these things do mean that Reynor, he's going to be pretty happy. He's got his 4th base on the way, and I love this from Reynor. He's going to go for a Spire, and I'm really hoping in this game that he does not go for the immediate Lurker transition. Sure, it made sense, but for the style that Maru is doing, you need to be able to do it. You need to be able to play at the edges of the map. You need to be able to do consistent damage that does not rely on just headbutting your opponent over and over again. Also, you need to be able to punish Maru's drops. That is important. So we have a 6 Widowmine drop coming on in to the right-hand side here of Reynor's base. And this is what we saw with Ace of Strategy, we saw with King of Battles, where Terran players for like 3 months figured out that, yeah, if I do mass Widowmine drops as soon as I get Drilling Claws, it's going to be really problematic. But also, Zerg players have kind of learned to deal with this. Widowmines will go down. Yeah, no, we're not going to see a whole lot of damage done here. I like this, actually. Just spending some mainleys to make sure the Widowmines don't get a whole lot done. 7 total workers do go down from that. 5 from the one Widowmine, 2 from the one that dropped at the 3rd base. But 7 workers for 6 Widow Mines, that's going to be fine. Reynor's not going to be too upset about that there. As he has 85 workers, he can afford the trade. And now we have spores coming on up in all of his mineral lands, just making sure that he does not suffer any additional damage there. There we go. Banelings will connect on that. To manually detonate. Just make sure that nothing happens there. Now, REYNOR, MARU, on the left-hand side, trying to clean up some creep. Will be unsuccessful, but MARU, this is not as successful as his previous games have been. He is only on 3 bases now. His 4th base, sure, his 4th command center is on the way. But he had a 4th base behind. He had his 4th base in position right now, and that is a function of the map. It is much harder to turtle up onto a 4th base here on Romanticide, because look at where the 4th base is. Look how exposed the 4th base is for MARU right now. Now we have mutas are on the way. 9 already on the map. 10th one is going to get joined, and we're going to see him go up to 15, 18 maybe. And I like this. This will be a commitment to muta, muta attack upgrades. That's going to make them that much more scary, that much more efficient as they look to knock down missile turrets. As they look to do more than just kill SCVs, and it'll let them kill SCVs faster. So we're going to see REYNOR sharking around on the map at this point, and he's in a wonderful position. Up 22 workers compared to his opponent. He has an upgrade lead, just barely. Actually, I guess it's kind of, he has 6-1, we have 2 on the other. His armor is faster than his opponent, but his opponent's attack is faster than his. So, see lo mismo. As now, MARU, he has his 4th command center done, so adding that 2nd factory, adding that 3 additional barracks, so he can continue to produce on into the mid-game, on into the late game, as he looks to deal with this Ling Bane Muta style that REYNOR is bringing to the fore here in this game number 3. And you know what? It's kind of interesting thing that REYNOR has done by going Ling Bane Muta into lurkers in the previous game. Now MARU has to be aware of that in the back of his head. He has to be thinking about the possibility of the Hydra, the lurker transition, and so we see him adding a 3rd factory. Bill going into tanks here, but all he has seen is Mutiling Bane. Now, tanks are not all that great against Mutiling Bane. Not a player of REYNOR's caliber who has that kind of incredible Zergling micro. And look at this, REYNOR, he owns the map. MARU, he's trying to take his 4th base now, and REYNOR, he has 5, he's taking his 6th, he's probably going to take his 7th soon. He's in a good spot. Hive on the way as well, so I would like to just see it be Ultra Tech in this game. There we go, run by coming on in once again here into the natural. Tanks are going to siege up, but that's not going to be a whole hell of a lot here. The tank's going to go down. Banelings are going to go on into the natural, and for the first time in this game, we're seeing, in this series, we're seeing significant damage done to the economy of MARU here. 21, 22 workers will go down, maybe even a little bit more. Muta's now diving on top of the 3rd base as well, and the missile turret will go down, but that's going to be just about the extent of things as the army of MARU is in position. Meanwhile, though, it looks like REYNOR tried to find his way onto the 4th base, but they're a tank, they're Widow Mines, not really all that successful. But 2-2 is just about done for both players here. We will see the mutants try to get on in, and a Widow Mine will actually go off, surprisingly enough. I thought he got it in time, but apparently not. And now the Hive is done. We have the 6th base of REYNOR on the way, and the 7th. So REYNOR, he's at 101 workers. He is mining so much more than his opponent at this point. Yes, mules have been dropped, so MARU's going to climb up a little bit, but we're going to see that dive back down once the mules are done. 3-3 is on the way. We're going to have to see whether REYNOR can do anything about that, but for the moment, he should get his 3-3 started as well, because MARU, he's only on 4 bases. He does not have this 5-6 base economy at this point in the game that he did in previous games. So we're going to have to see whether he can actually get a little bit more done on the map, be a little bit more dynamic here. The Widow Mines, though, he has to be careful. That one will get targeted down by the rally. And actually, yeah, there we go. The missile turrets go down. And the mutas here, they are absolutely undefended. So we're going to see we're going to see plus 3 attack get corrupted. And actually, no, REYNOR, he's just going to be able to target these down. He's going to have such a massive 3-3 versus 2-2 window at the very least. His opponent is not going to have that 3-3 versus 2-2 window that Terran players have traditionally just killed the Zerg with. That was the timing back in Heart of the Swarm, back in Liga's really Heart of the Swarm, when you went this 4M style, when you got to 3-3 and your opponent was only on 2-2 because Hive was so damn expensive, you could just trade so much better and slowly kill your opponent. But now look at this, the mutants on top of these SCVs once again, as they were pulled, I guess, to repair the orbital. But 11 more workers do go down, as 44 SCVs have died in this game to the 7 of REYNOR. MARU has been able to get no damage done to REYNOR whatsoever. REYNOR, his creep spread is untouched. His bases are untouched. 3-3 is on the way. Chitinous plating on the way as well. And REYNOR, if he can break this 4th base, he's going to be a damn good spot to take this game. It's a hard spot to break. This is the hardest spot to attack into for the Terran player. The chokes are small. You can put up tanks there. It's only 2 positions. And with Widow Mines and tanks, it's so hard to get out anything on in. So REYNOR instead, he's going to try to make use of his mobility on the map. We will see the command center taking the more north 12 o'clock position. We're going to have to see the mutas, though. Mutas are right there. Can they do anything about that? They will find that planetary, or that command center, soon to be planetary, I guess, immediately. The tank's going to go down, and these are +2 mutas. They shred things pretty easily. The wall is down, by the way, so REYNOR has the opportunity for run-bys later on. The 5th base of MARU is going to go down as well. REYNOR is doing such a good job of constricting MARU to his 4 bases. Because when you're first learning StarCraft, one of the things people tell you is that if you can keep your opponent on 4 bases or fewer, you're probably going to win the game. Especially if you can keep a Terran off of their 5th base, you are probably going to win the game. MARU, he is only on 4 bases. Yes, he has extra planetaries, extra command centers on the way, but he's not able to mine from them. And if you're not able to mine from them, well, that's a bit problematic here. So we will have the mutas here on the left-hand side, going to try to get something done once again. At the very least, okay, so they're going to get these Widow Mines. Nice job there, targeting all those down, getting tanks as well. And more importantly, I think the goal here is to open up the wall for run-bys once again. But actually, the wall's already open, so they will be totally fine. They are getting on top of some of these missile turrets. Marines will find them as well, but no, they'll be able to get out just in time. I kind of would like to see REYNOR go for +3 air attack. That's something you see players like DRG do, as he's just getting so much done with these mutas. Now, Widow Mines will go off, but oh no, the Banelings are going to fight on the right-hand side. MARU's now on 3 bases, but his natural doesn't have any resources. His main doesn't have any resources. This is effectively a 1.5 base Terran. And yes, does he have a scary army? Absolutely. Will he have 3-3 soon? Yes, he will. Will he have +3 mech tech? Yeah. So these Thors, these tanks are going to do God's work in this game. But on the flip side, he is not mining all that much here. That's the button I'm looking for. There we go. Yeah, REYNOR tripling his mineral income, over tripling his gas income. So MARU, he's gonna have to take this 4th base rather quickly once again. And REYNOR, he owns the map. He's taking the bottom left and the top right, which means he owns MARU's base. He owns a base that MARU would like to mine out of at this point in the game. And with all that being said, well, if this game goes the 30 minutes we saw the previous 2 games go, MARU is not going to be as happy because he will not have been able to mine the total quantity as much in the game at this point. As now we have REYNOR. He's going to dive on in here. The orbital will get lifted, but the Banelings are just on top of everything. So much of MARU's army is just down in the dumps. And yes, the Ultras will eventually get targeted down. Nice snipes there from REYNOR. But MARU at 137 supply. He's having to spend the rest of his bank rebuilding this army. So there we go. MARU now at 100. He's sitting at about 100 minerals. He's spending as much as he can make, as he's only about 1,000 resources a minute. He has the 4th base once again, but he's only on 52 workers, which it's fine considering he can't mine out of his main, can't mine out of his natural. In fact, this base that he's on for his 4th base was his natural, and now the mutas will find this 12 o'clock base here. Going to try to take it down once again, and there we go. +3 air attack is on the way here. I really like this from REYNOR. He will be, because the mutas have been the MVPs. Now these snipes, though, they're going to have something to say about there, as Ghosts are still really good against mutas. But now we're going to have the Ultras, we're going to have the Banelings rolling on in once again. So many mules and everything going on. Actually, MARU, he's going to lose the orbital. MARU not lifting in time, not paying attention to how much splash the orbital is taking, and he's going to lose effectively his last mining base. Now we're going to have the Kaiser Blades of the Ultras. They're going to find this base. This base is going to go down right now. MARU needs to cancel. He will not do so. MARU on 2 orbitals. MARU only has 2 orbitals in this game. Sorry, he has 4 orbitals. Never mind. 2 orbitals in mining positions, I guess. I got so excited. Nice kiting there with the Ghosts. But now we have REYNOR going to crash on into this base once again. All the Thors are going to go down, or at least they're going to get forced to lift up and drop. And if REYNOR can get on top of this, does not matter. GG REYNOR. He is striking back in this game number 3. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a series. And now, we have a series indeed. REYNOR playing a masterful game number 3 on Pillars of Gold. And game number 4, it is on Lightshade. Of course, game 5, if we get there, will be on Pillars of Gold. I'm sorry. Masterful game on Romanticide. If we get there, game number 5 will be on Pillars of Gold. Another map that is not quite as easy to turtle up upon. That being said, though, MARU, game 4, Lightshade, it's a little bit easier to do that because of the high ground position. So we're going to have to see whether MARU can make use of that, play that that style that abused REYNOR so much in the first 2 games in this series. Because if he's able to do so, MARU will be one of the finalists of IEM Katowice for the first time in his storied career. But of course, REYNOR, he wants to have something to say about that. As now we're getting on in to our 4th game in this dramatic best of 5 semifinals. Let's get on in. And spawning in the bottom right, in the red, he is, representing Clash Esports, down but not out. He is REYNOR. And his opponent in the upper left, in the blue, representing Team NV, 1 game away from the grand finals. The 4th horseman, the 4th race, he is MARU. So we have seen 3 straight games of very similar openings now from MARU, from REYNOR. But all 3 games have gone late. REYNOR took 1, MARU took 2. And really, it felt like MARU took the late games that allowed him to turtle up in the extreme, the maps that allowed him to do so. But the minute REYNOR found a map that did not give MARU 4-3 bases, REYNOR was able to run away with things. And I like that idea to move on to mutas, to really play with mutas as much as he did. He got so much damage done with them. Things that he was not able to get done with that Hydraling Bane Lurker style, because the whole goal of that Hydraling Bane Lurker style is to welcome the Terran into your clutches, to trade with them on creep, to smash their armies over and over again, and then you get Lurkers, and the Terran does not have what they need to deal with it. Lurkers, they're a powerful tech to be sure, but they are a timing. Once the Terran gets tons of ghosts out, gets tons of tanks, gets +3 tank attack, all these things, it is so much more difficult for the Lurkers to get what they want to get done, because they got to run up and burrow, and that makes life difficult. So we're going to have to see exactly what REYNOR is going for here. Now, REYNOR in this game, he is changing things up just a little. This was a 12 pool, an early pool from REYNOR here in this game number 4. So he's going to try here, at the very least, to go on in, delay the command center, and actually, this is a really interesting build for MARU too. Now, Special does something similar to this, where he gets 2 barracks, and he goes for Mass Reaper after this, but that's not what MARU's doing. I mean, there's a factory on the low ground as well, as, well, MARU, he kind of went an early, well, this is a Reaper expand, but it's a really weird way of getting your wall off on the low ground rather quickly. But the Reaper, the Zerglings there find their way on into the natural. 3 Zerglings split off to delay the command center. And now the Zerglings, they're going to be able to get the reactor as well. So that means, well, we're going to have to see it get rebuilt again. It will get killed off here. And the 4th base, or excuse me, the natural will get delayed for quite a while. You can see I'm used to casting late game at this point. And now the Reaper is all the way back. But the Zerglings are going to try to delay this factory yet longer, and they will be able to do so. Now, REYNOR, he has already done so much damage. Will he be able to delay the command center? He will not. The Reaper and the Marine are there. They are enough to be able to put the kibosh on this. But already this is damage. Already the command center has been delayed. Already the reactor has been delayed. So whatever build MARU was going for here in this game number 4, it's going to not hit that timing. It's going to be 30 seconds later. It's going to be a minute later. That being said, though, REYNOR, he did go for a 12 pull out of this. This is going to delay his tech just a little bit more. The question at this point, though, is whether REYNOR was delayed more or MARU was. Considering how much that command center was delayed, I would argue that MARU was absolutely punished a little bit more than REYNOR will ever possibly be by what has happened in this game, as this is a 1-1-1 follow-up from MARU. At this point, we're going to have to see exactly what he's going for here, as we do have Hellions on the way, and this is a full wall. This is the least bustable wall that has ever existed, as that is a lot of combined HP, like 3,000 combined hit points. 2,000, I guess, combined hit points on the map right now at that wall. But REYNOR, he says, okay, look, I delayed things. I'm going to delay them yet more. Roach Warren is on the way. So REYNOR's going to go up to about 37, 39 roaches, maybe even a little bit less. We're going to have to see what he looks to go for here. There's a 34 drone roach all in as well. And we're going to have to see what he wants to go for this, whether these are defensive roaches. The Roach Warren is a little bit early for these to be defensive roaches. So we're going to have to see exactly what REYNOR wants to do with this, but also what MARU is going for. And there's a second starport on the way. This is like 2 factory Banshee, 2 factory BC. There are a couple different... A 3rd starport from MARU. That is it. I don't know of any builds that you can go third starport there. But Maru, he's going for it, and far be it for me to bemoan things, as now 3 starports are on the way. I guess this is 3 starport Banshee. I don't even know if you have the gas to support that off of 2 bases, to be totally honest. Maru, of course, sharking away on the right-hand side with these Hellions, but look at this. The Hellions, they're on the right-hand side of the map. The Roaches are finding their way on the left-hand side of the map. Maru has no idea that these Roaches are streaming across the map right now. No, this was supposed to be a Fusion Core. This was 2-port BC, but the Fusion Core is so late. It is so damn late, and now the Roaches are cresting. We have no Banshees on production here because, well, I guess Maru, he didn't feel the need to couch it. He said, look, this was a 12-pull. 12-pull opening. I don't think you're going to have enough in time. But now there's a Banshee on the way. We're going to see that reactor get taken out immediately, so less Hellions that can maybe make the production here. Viking will be forced to land, but now we see Biles coming on down, and they will get some SCVs. Yeah, 3 SCVs do go down. The wall is now down. We're going to see the army of Maru streaming on it, or REYNOR streaming on into the natural. No SCVs. They've already been pulled on up into the high ground. I do like that. And we have an ad hoc bunker coming on up here. 2 E-bays, or ad hoc wall. 2 E-bays coming on in, but REYNOR will be able to kill that immediately. Maru does get the cancel. More and more SCVs are going down, and we're going to have to see just how much damage REYNOR is able to get. Now, Maru, I like this move. He realizes that there's nothing he can do with these Hellions, with these Reapers, so he's going to dive on in there into the natural and try to kill off as much economy from REYNOR as possible. But he's only on 36 supply. REYNOR has 90, and the SCVs have been pulled back. 18 workers have died. SCVs now all in the natural, but now the Roaches, the Ravagers, they're going to find them. The Bios are going to try to land on top of these Banshees, and it looks like one did land at some point, but 19, 20, 21 workers have gone down. There is not enough DPS in this army of Maru to be able to knock off the Roaches, the Ravagers in time. Maru on 29 supply. GG, we're going to game 5. And there we have it. REYNOR, I don't know whether he scouted something in Maru's play that says Maru likes to do this type of build on this map, whether Lambo saw something, whether he had some advanced warning, or whether this was just a solid read of things. Whatever the case, REYNOR took game number 4, and now game number 5 is coming on up. The ace match of the semifinals number 1. Winner moves on to the grand finals to place the winner of Zest and Parting. And what a series we have had thus far. Maru dominant in the first 2 games. Maru looking pretty good in the third game, but REYNOR really turning up the speed, really turning on that killer instinct, playing that game that we know he can play so well, getting those run bys, getting that economic damage done, making it so Maru is never able to feel comfortable in the game. And now we're tied up 2-2. Game number 5 will be on Pillars of Gold. Let's get into things. And here we are, spawning in the upper right, in the blue, representing Team NV for perhaps the last time. He is MARU. And his opponent in the bottom left in the red, representing Team Clash. He is the Italian Stallion, REYNOR. So, we've seen 3 games of late game Knock'em Sock'em macro play. We've seen 1 game of Maru trying to do something cheesy and REYNOR slapping him aside, saying, no. If you want to take me late game, fine, we'll do that, but you don't get to go 2 starport, you don't get to go 2-port battlecruiser. Not in my game. And to be fair to Maru, that build may have worked, but not when you build a 3rd starport instead of the fusion core. It's just never going to happen. REYNOR caught Maru off guard, and now we're moving on into game number 5, Pillars of Gold. And it should be noted that this map is a little bit harder to turtle on than the previous one was. In games 1 and 2, you can get 4 bases for free. That's a great thing. That means that Maru can play this late game, immediately late game, turtle to late game style that works so well for him. In Lightshade, you cannot really do that as much. Romanticide, you cannot really do that as much. Yes, the 4th base is kind of turtleable, but it's hard to get to. You cannot take it as fast, and Maru did go for an aggressive option, which delayed his 4th base a little bit more. Pillars of Gold, you can get your 3rd base rather defensively in the triangular position, but that 4th base that people sometimes take on the north, the 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock position, depending on whether you're Maru or REYNOR, that's a little bit harder to defend. It's a little bit more wide out in the open, so you can't really turtle on it as much. And yes, you can take the base that is linear to the triangular base, call it the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock base, but that also has its own problems, in that it really leaves you wide open to attacks on into the natural. So we're going to have to see what Maru opts for here, whether he decides to play a little bit more aggressive, whether he decides to really lean in to that extremely powerful multitasking style that he has become so known for over the last several years at this point, last decade. But now, once again, it should be noted, Maru not going for Reaper Expand in this game. This is Marine into Reactor, so this is most likely a Hellbat time of some sort coming on into this game. That's kind of what you see when you don't see the Reaper coming on in. Now, Maru may prove me totally wrong, but that's how we've seen a lot of Terrans open up at this point. When you skip that Reaper early on, you get this quicker factory. You get those Hellions a little bit faster. Tends to be a Hellbat timing, but Maru may or may not opt to go for that. We shall see, as he does have his second command center on location. Orbital is on the way. REYNOR, for his part, no roaches earlier on. We're not going to see a 3-minute roach warren. We're not going to see a 34 drone roach all in, because this is game 5. I don't think we're going to see either player go for anything too crazy, although, as I say, that Widowmine's on the way, and this is not a Hellbat timing. Oh, no. This is going to be a 6 Marine and 1 Widowmine drop that's going to try to get some damage done in REYNOR's base. And if REYNOR's not ready for this, it can absolutely cause havoc. Now, we're going to have to see, because, of course, the kind of the meta is at this point, you say, okay, well, once speed's done, I get around to links. At 4 minutes, I maybe get a little more, because I want to make sure I'm safe from the Hellions. I want to make sure I am safe from the from any potential push, and that is exactly what REYNOR's going for here, as he has, of course, gone for the build that Solar and more Korean players have been going for a little bit more, where you don't get gas quite as fast. You stay 1 out of 1. You rally on into the gas. You stay 1 out of 1. So your speed is done at 4 minutes instead of 3:30, which honestly doesn't matter all that much. There are very few Terran pushes that need a 3:30 speed to really be dealt with. So now we have this drop going on into the main base. As Maru, he's never attacking in one place at any given time. Hellions finding their way on into this 4th-ish base location here of REYNOR. So Zerglings, they're going to run into the main base. They say, okay, here's the drop. The Queens are in proper defensive position. It is only 3 Hellions, so no big deal there. And the Queen's going to take 1 for the team. The Widowmine will get nothing done. The drop's going to try to go on into the natural, but there are enough Zerglings here that they will be able to sit on top of this, sit underneath it. The Marines will get nothing done here. Queens are going to try to track this down, but Maru gets nothing done here in this game number 5. His drop that he sacrificed a little bit to get to. Actually, no, the Queen will be forced to back up here. But the Widowmine, or the Medevac, excuse me, is almost going down. But anyway, this drop that Maru sacrificed so much to get to, right? He went for this build that honestly kind of looked like a Hellbat opening. He got nothing done with it. In fact, he got totally shoved aside. The Widowmine's got nothing done. And he's going into Banshees out of this. He is leaning hard into this aggressive opening, and REYNOR has shown us that if there's one thing that he can do better than anyone in the world, the one thing that he can do, he can defend the early game. He can put himself in a fantastic early game position no matter what Maru throws at him. It kind of looks silly at some points to see how powerful he is, how little damage these pressure options, these aggressive options that we see Terrans going for, how little damage they do. So now Maru, he's going for a Hellion Banshee out of this, I guess. Banshee Cloak is just about done. We're going to see how much damage the Banshees get done here. But if this is anything like the previous 4 games, I don't see REYNOR taking any damage, or at least nothing significant. REYNOR already on 60 workers. He has his 4th base on the way. He's taking that linear 3rd, which of course is maybe it's just about as pushable as the other base. But it does allow him to have a position to attack from and defend from at the same time. And the wall will go down, which means the 3rd base not quite as pushable as it previously was. So now the Banshees, they're going to cycle on in to the right-hand side, try to get something done as we have a drop coming on in on the left-hand side. Hellions just doing what they can to remove creep. Maru, he's playing at 3 places at once, and REYNOR, though, REYNOR was practicing 4v1 in Archon mode for this specific matchup, for this specific game, and we're going to have to see exactly how well he's able to make use of that. The Queens are already in position here. The Banshees are going to get nothing done. REYNOR prescient in this game number 5. He knows the tricks that Maru can throw, and he had some good scouting as well. He knows what he's up against, and he knows that he will be able to defend it with aplomb. So a couple more barracks here from Maru as he goes up to his 5 barracks setup. Gets on in that mid game, which means, well, he's gonna. Where's this? Does he have a 3rd command center? Yes. Okay. Yeah, he does. He just There we go. It's moving on to location. But considering this is not... Well, we're going to have to see whether he adds additional 3 extra barracks, goes into that ARAX, or whether he just adds that 4th base. Considering the way MARU is playing, considering how good he has looked in the late game, I fully expect that 4th barracks to go on in. And now, for Reynor, we have a Spire on the way. We have a Spire on the way. So he's going to look to put the screws tomorrow like he did in game number 3. Be on the left, be on the right. Use those mutas to such insane effectiveness that he was able to get done in game number 3. Killing off all the tanks, getting so much SCV damage, killing off so much structural damage. All these things were so useful to the Italian Stallion. Now Maru's going to try to get aggressive here once again, but this drop is really just a creep clearing drop. The whole goal here is just to establish map control, push back the creep of Reynor, but Reynor on top of things. Look how far this creep is over halfway across the map at 7 minutes into this game, with Maru being very aggressive in game number 5. Maru has Hellions all over the place. He has Jet drops all over the place. He has Banshees all over the place. That means the Queens have not been able to be actively spreading creep, but still, this creep is so damn far across the map here as we have a massive amount of Lings and Banelings here on the right-hand side, but looks like the Banshees are aware of this, so Reynor not really going to be able to get his run by in. Instead, this should be a flank that's going to be able to sweep Maru from Reynor's base, from Reynor's 4th base, and push him back. Once again, Reynor, he's down army supply, but you got to remember, Ling Bane on creep is the most supply-efficient composition in the game. Off creep, different story, but on creep like this, it's difficult. But Maru, though, he's taking such a good trade here. He has 1-1, so does his opponent, but these 2 tanks are standing strong. Reynor, though, he has to keep his 4th base alive, or at least he very much wants to, but Maru is doing such a good job of targeting down all of these Banelings. Banelings now, they're going to finally show up. The tanks are going to go down, but this was not a good trade from Reynor in any situation. Tanks are doing a really good job, actually forcing a lot of energy from the Queens as well. Now, well, the bio that's still there is going to stay on top of these Queens. We will see maybe 1 Queen go down, but no, more and more Ling Bane will show up, and Maru will be forced back. But what a trade there for Maru as the Banshees are doing what they can to cancel this 5th base from Reynor on the right-hand side. But now we've mutas are on the map. 2-2 is on the way. Actually, Reynor with a bit of an upgrade lead. He will have his he will have 2-2 faster than Maru will. Maru will have 1-2 at around the same time, or 2-1 around the same timing, but armor is a little bit late. So now mutas are on the way. 6th base now on the way here for Reynor. 6th base now on the way here for Reynor as he's just looking to expand where his opponent is not pushing. As once again, Maru trying to take advantage of that beachhead that he formed for himself earlier on in this game. He's going to be able to knock out the 4th base, so that is rather big as the Banshees will get targeted down, though. So Banshees will not be able to kill off that backup 4th base here for Reynor. He's totally fine with that. But again, knocking out the 4th base, the actual 4th base of Reynor, is a masterful move. But now the mutas, they're trying to get something done, but they have not been able to get all that much done quite yet. The missile turrets are already in position. The bio is there, but now Reynor, he's going to look to swallow up the entire army of Maru that exists on the map. But Maru with a hot pickup will be totally fine. The tanks as backup are going to be totally okay. But now Reynor, it looks like he has an inside track to the mineral line of Maru here on Maru's 3rd base, and he's going to look to try to take advantage of that as his Lings, his Banes are going to stream on in, but no, he's going to back him. He says, no, not yet. I am not comfortable yet. Let's just go re-expand. Let's reproduce where I am. Let's get some more mutas. And that is what it's going to do. Only 11 mutas on the map at this point. I'd like to see him go up to 17, 18, 19 mutas. Also should be noted here, Reynor has not invested in muta upgrades at this point in the game. And on the one hand, I understand it. Maru has putting a lot of pressure onto him. He has lost his 4th base. But think about how much damage those mutas did in game number 3. You want that damage upgrade. You want that damage to ground. You want that damage to air. You want to be able to snipe the Widow Mines. You want to snipe the tanks that much faster. You want to be able to do that much more structural damage. ACP as the mutas, they're going to fly over the Marines. 2 of their number will go down. And the creep spread, once again, Maru's doing a really good job of cleaning this up. But Reynor's creep spread is still so damn good. But Maru, of course, he's never attacking in one place at any given time. Stemming on into the right-hand side as well. This base may go down. We're going to see how fast Reynor is in responding to that. And now he will be able to push back the attack on the left-hand side, though. But if Maru is able to get the base, as he is able to do so already, this is worthwhile here for Maru. He's going to turn back, stay on top of the mutas, doing such a good job of targeting these mutas down once again. Once again, he's going to target them down, but now he's going to be forced to pick up liftoff, go home, because there's enough Ling Bane on the ground. But Maru, he's never in one place at any given time. He's going to find the 4th base of Reynor. Once again, he's going to try to target it down. Now, he will not be able to do so this time. The Marines are there, but now Reynor getting some damage of his own on the other side of the map. Reynor, turn back! Reynor, get those SCVs, but he will not be able to do so. The slightest bit of hesitation will allow Reynor the time he needs, or Maru the time he needs to pull his SCVs back and he's going to get a couple supply depots and supply block REYNOR for a brief period of time, but that is not the damage that REYNOR was looking for. That was not the damage that REYNOR had available to him in this game number 5, in this ultimate game, in a fantastic series. All right, Banelings are now going to run on in, and this time though, MARU, is he quick enough? He is. 7 workers go down, but it could have been so much worse. A little bit of bio will die as well, and MARU, he, for the first time in this series, I guess after outside of losing the games he lost, but over these long games, is consistently down in supply. Now, he does have more army supply, and REYNOR is at 100 workers, so you take that with a grain of salt when we look at effective fighting strength. But MARU has 3-3 on the way, and he will have a nice 3-3 timing compared to his opponent. His hive is only just now done, but REYNOR's going to stream on in once again. There's not a whole lot of army here. Banelings are just going to run on into the mineral lines. We're going to have to see how much damage REYNOR can get done here. The missile turret goes down, 10 workers go down, and REYNOR is finally starting to do damage to the economy of his Terran opponent. It's not a lot. It's not what he did in game number 3, but he is getting there, as 21 workers have gone down. And REYNOR, he is starting to establish more control on the map. He has every base that he can reasonably be expected to take, reasonably be expected to hold into this game. He has 100 workers, 99 workers now, I guess. 3-3 is on the way, adrenal glands are on the way. We finally have Overlord speed on the way here to make sure that the Overseers can actually scout the Widow Mines. But look at this. We see 2 players playing at their fastest. Both players fighting on the left and the right at the same time. MARU, this expeditionary force will be forced back, but also REYNOR, his mutas on the right-hand side, will be forced back. MARU defending and attacking, attacking and defending at the same time. As I don't even want to know, I don't even want to know what their APMs are. Both players just playing the games of their lives here in the semifinals. Both players desperately want to make the first finals of this for the period of time that Katowice is not just the IEM World Championships, but it is the World Championships of StarCraft in general. Now, REYNOR's going to run on in here, make a really good trade against all of these Marines, but at the end of the day, the Thors will stand strong. But now the Zerglings are going to run in, and there are no Marines, very few. So actually, the mutas are going to run down in as well. 3 workers will go down, and actually, no, the Banelings, they're going to find the mineral line. MARU, he's not pulling in time. 13 workers go down. Meanwhile, the mutas in the natural, they're going to be able to knock out the missile turret, but not much else. 15 workers go down. Mutas are going to find these building missile turrets as well. These NASA missile turrets will go on down here. 17, 20 workers will go down, and REYNOR, he is finding those openings he has been so desperate for over the first 2 games, over this game as well. The Queens are going to be able to target down some of these medevacs as well. And medevac does go down. The Queens, though, will trade their lives for it. At least one of them will. But now Zerglings are here. They are spilling on in. Cracklings as well. So they will be able to take good trades even if they don't have 3-3. When we're looking at small forces like that, when there are the surrounds. But no, the mutas are... Oh no, the mutas. They're going to dive on top of the Thors. They're going to take Widowmine shots. All the mutas are dead. And now, what can REYNOR do to defend the multi-prong aggression of MARU? Now, he's going to be able to knock this base out. And that is already really nice. Knocking down this 5th base of MARU does put him back into the Stone Age from an economic perspective. But MARU, he is never in one place at any given time. Once again, this 4th base of REYNOR is going to get knocked down. MARU, though, there is not a whole lot here to defend him. Not in the 3rd base. So it looks like he may be able to knock the 3rd base as well. And there we go. MARU trying to stim on into the 3rd base. That is the 2nd hatchery that MARU was killed in the last 30 seconds. And now REYNOR, if you look at his income, it's not nearly as nice as it once was. It's 2.4k, dropping just a little. It was over 3. And that actually makes a good bit of difference here. Now MARU is just going to drop on in the main base. There is nothing here. Oh no, MARU's going to find the right-hand side as well. MARU, 3 bases going down in 45 seconds. MARU has put REYNOR's economy back into the Stone Age. And yes, MARU lost his 4th base, but he's just going to lift his main onto his 5th, and he's going to be totally fine. He has the economy. He has the eco lead. As soon as the space drops, as soon as the mules land there, REYNOR is on 4 bases. REYNOR is only mining off of a base and a half. And this is why we were saying, REYNOR, I want you to build mutas. I want you to be dynamic on the map like that. You need to be able to deal with the drop pressure that MARU is so adept at putting on in. And now REYNOR, he has the scary army on the right-hand side. Do not get me wrong. But that's an army that, it can't really push on in. It cannot really push on into the Terran. As once again, oh, MARU is going to be able to get a cancel there. REYNOR cannot, REYNOR cannot reestablish his economy, he is not going to be in a good position in this game. But the Widow Mines will find, maybe, okay, they will not find the mineral line, and there are a lot of Marauders here. Widow Mines are going to be able to do some damage to these Ultras as well. Banelings, they're going to look around, but they will not find anything. Now, the factory is burning. So Widow Mines are going to start to get targeted. And once again, MARU, his drops are just unabated here. Once again, the 5th base of REYNOR is going to get targeted down. Now, MARU not microing that, so he will lose the fight there against the couple Ultras. And that is something. MARU only on 148 supply, only up 5 army supply compared to his opponent. Only on 58 workers. But as the game stabilizes, REYNOR on 4 bases, MARU on 5. He's going to be able to drop those mules once again. 4 workers being built at a time. But look at this. REYNOR has realized the error of his ways. 8 mutas are on the way. Do we have any more that I missed? No, we do not. 8 more mutas on the way. And there we go. Going up to 15. I like that a little bit more. He will be able to deal with the drop pressure of MARU once again. As now MARU, he's going to push on in here into this last true mining base here of REYNOR at this point. But on the flip side, REYNOR, counterattack of his own, will be able to knock off the 4th base of MARU. So this game is just getting scrappy as hell. Neither player has any mining whatsoever. Not really. Okay, we looked at the income here. It looks good, but that's just because of mules. Each player effectively only on 1.5 base of mining income at this point. And REYNOR looks like he may lose his last mining base, his last true mining base. And there we go. It goes down. REYNOR, what do you have? You have to win this game with what you have. At least buy some time to build your base count back up again. 10 Zerglings on the way, 1 Ultra on the way. And REYNOR, his bank is down in the dumps. He only has 500 minerals. At a late game position like this, that is not a lot. MARU, though, he is not rich either. He has not been able to get into this ghost tank count that was so dominant in the previous games. Zerglings, mutas are going to run in. The mutas with some decent splits will be able to knock off a decent amount of these Liberators. And now there's not a lot of Marines here, so that means the mutas will be able to stand strong if they can get on top of the Liberators. But so many mutas died. The Liberators not being focused appropriately, and Liberator Splash, yes, is it as big as it once was? No, it is not, but it is enough. 4 Liberators are enough to kill off the mutas eventually. And there are only 3 mutas left on the map now. MARU, now with a 30 army supply lead, but look at this. I love this. When you're down eco, what do you do? What do you do when you're down so far from an economic perspective? You go and you build spellcasters. You build units that can generate value over time. And there we go. Infestors are on the way here for REYNOR. As he says, to hell with this. I don't want to have to micro against MARU anymore. He's going to micro, but I don't want to have to deal with MARU's micro. I can drop a fungal. I can force the army to not micro nearly as much, and then the Kaiser Blades of my Ultras will be able to kill everything off here. And I do like that play. Now REYNOR going for the run by once again. This is where REYNOR stands supreme. When he makes the game chaotic, when he is forcing the Terran to be in 5 places at once. But there is no better Terran in the world at being able to deal with this multi-pronged aggression from REYNOR, because MARU, he does it himself. You look at any late game TVZ that he plays, he is attacking on the left, he's attacking on the right. He has like 3 different army command groups, and he is adroitly shuffling between all of 3 of them. It looks like he's microing all 3 of them at the same time, as 16 workers did go down in that run by, though. MARU only on 22 SCVs here. He does have a 30 army supply lead, though. We're going to have to see how much damage he's able to make use of that. Now, these 3 mutas, it appears that the time of mutas may be over in this game. Now, I don't think so. Mutas in games like this, in late game, in scrappy games like this, are so effective because as long as they don't die, they regen their health. You can bring them back again. They do such a good job of removing the economy from the Terran player, but, well, there are 3 mutas. They're really not going to get a whole lot done. And MARU and REYNOR, he feels the same. 3 more mutas are on the way. He's going to buy as many as he can, as he really has no mineral income. But, well, okay, never mind. I keep pulling to the income tab. I'm like, these players, they have barely any bases. How are they having this much? But it's always surprising. They do have enough. They have enough to keep playing the game. As REYNOR effectively has 2.5. Two bases mining here. MARU the same because he has mules. And now this Widowmine will not be able to deny this base any longer. But the question, though, is whether MARU can put the screws to REYNOR once again. Whether he can deny these right-hand side bases for REYNOR that he needs so much to keep his mining in this game. That's the question. As these Widowmines behind enemy lines are doing such a good job of killing off just tons and tons of Zerglings. And at this point in the game, those Zerglings don't feel free, not anymore. They don't feel cheap, not anymore. When every time you build something, you just go down to 0, get hit that not enough minerals alert. They don't feel free. So now we have MARU on the left-hand side here. Says, look, REYNOR, you're defending on the right-hand side. That's totally fine. I get that. I forced you there. Let me see if I can stim on in rather quickly on into the left-hand side. Target your base down. It's only out of 8, but it's still a valuable mining opportunity there. And there it is. Gonna go down. Once again, REYNOR, he is running out of money. He's running out of bases as the 5th base is going to get targeted down once again. But the fungal is going to be there. The fungals, can he chain them, though? Can he chain them on top of the Medivacs? He will be able to do so. Now, he needs one more fungal to kill off the Medivacs here. He will be able to get that last fungal. Will it kill off the Medivacs? No, it will not. Surviving on very little HP. But the Marauders are all going to go down. The bio is going to go down. The Ultras are going to take a great trade here, and now REYNOR is on the left-hand side. This is just an orbital. There is no defense there from it. Yes, it can lift, but does that matter? You need to defend the SCVs. You need to defend the army, and we're going to have Zerglings, Banelings spilling on in to this army of MARU here between the natural and the third base. The Fungals are going to be decent, but they're not going to be enough, and actually one will whiff. So 2 Infestors will go down. Infestors are so damn expensive, but the last Fungal will hit here, and a couple Marauders will go down as well. And now it feels like this is the point where REYNOR may have finally broken MARU. He has an economy. MARU kind of does too, but it is a mule-supported one, which means that that base will run out rather quickly. REYNOR, for the first time in a while, has a army supply lead. REYNOR, he has double the workers. Again, that doesn't matter all that much at this late in the game. But REYNOR, he owns the map. He still owns the map. He's able to mine from pretty much every mineral line. I guess he's not mining from the bottom base at this point, but everywhere else he is mining. I know the Widowmine is going to be really nice. We get 8 workers. There we go. 8 workers do go down. But again, REYNOR has more workers than he can afford to mine with. So that's going to be really nice. Now the Ultras are going to go on forward here. Missile turret doing what it can, but all the Widowmines are now going to go down. Run by on top of this 4th base. It's now burning. MARU has to be careful. And the Fungals are just going to be disastrous here. So much of the army of MARU is going to go down here. Yes, do the Ultras die at the end of the day? But yes, but does it even matter? I'm not so sure. MARU on 50 supply, and he cannot resupply. Not as well as he would like. Zergling run by into the natural here. We're going to start to see some of the production of MARU get taken down here. All of the tech labs are going to go down here. Some of the barracks as well. And you know what? It doesn't matter all that much. I love this use of Corruptors, though. MARU is only so good as he's able to keep his medevacs alive, get that consistent healing to allow him to fight in these low supply situations. But when those medevacs go down, because the Corruptors are just firing at it, he cannot do so. And now REYNOR streaming on in with the last army of MARU sitting here. All of his SCVs, the last mining going down as well. The 5th base has been beaten. And GG REYNOR, he's going to take it all the way back from 2-0 down. He's going to take it to 3-2, and REYNOR will be your first finalist of IEM Katowice 2021.